If you're sitting bored in your cab all day and you need something to get you through your day, check out Sweat and Grime on any of your podcasting platforms. We geared it to be entertaining and focused on the trades. We're not trying to teach you anything. We're not trying to get you to have a phenomenal working business. We just want you to have a good time. So check us out, Sweat and Grime, on any of your podcasting platforms. We appreciate it. Now, here's your video. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's Down and Dirty, we're gonna do something a little different. I was very fortunate and was invited to participate in the first ever National Equipment League Challenge. Essentially, we went out and took some operators and had a challenge to see who would come out on top. There were 4 events and 1 event has been released so far. And so I thought we would do a quick breakdown and analysis of what I did correctly, but then also critique myself on ways I could have saved time and been more efficient in the excavator. And I think this will be a really good training exercise and we'll have a little fun with it. So let's go watch the video of me competing. All right, so there's the flag. We are off to the races. My strategy is stay as close to the truck as possible because that's gonna cut down on my cycle times. These big excavators don't really swing fast, and so you really wanna stay close to the truck. The other thing you're gonna notice that I do is I try not to stick in past 90 degrees. That way, as I go and fill my bucket, I'm already in position to just swing over the truck. There's not a whole lot of wasted movement on my stick. Now, one thing I do notice I can save a lot of time on, and a lot is a relative term, is after I dump that bucket out, I'm actually booming up just out of habit. And had I kept the boom a little lower, that would have just saved maybe an extra second here or there, so that I could have gotten back down into the dirt quicker for that next scoop. Now, this I believe is the scoop that really got me. Let's see here. Yes, this is the one. So you're gonna notice all that dirt that spills out. These larger excavators, they've just got a lot deeper bucket on them. And so you've gotta really give that bucket time to empty out, or you've gotta do the little stick flick that I've talked about in previous videos where you just kind of barely tap your stick in just to kind of help coax that dirt out. Now, you can look at the load meter here. I was at 34 tons. I only needed to get to 37. Was that a total of 3 tons of material that I dropped on the ground? Probably not, because I was getting about 5-ish tons of material per scoop. So I don't know that that particular scoop cost me this particular event, but it certainly didn't help me. So now it was, get out of the excavator, run down to the truck, try not to bust it because that was a very steep, slippery slope because it was not compacted. And then we are off to the races in the truck. So overall, pretty happy with my performance in the excavator. Like I said, the only 2 things is leaving that bucket a little closer to the truck and then letting that bucket empty out just a little bit, faster, holding it over the truck just a hair so I didn't waste that material. Now, the first 100 yards of this course were all uphill for that off-road truck. And unfortunately, that's just one of those things you're gonna go slow. You can't really gear the engine down because it's gonna overspeed. You're already kind of running right in the RPM band that the truck wants to run in at this particular slope. So you can see me talking to the guy in the cab there that I wanted to whip the horse, like, come on baby, come on. You gotta wait it out, unfortunately, on those big hills. Now we get up to the top here and you're gonna notice I cut over to the edge, and there's a specific reason for that. A lot of the guys were going over the potholes, and potholes slow you down. You want to avoid the potholes so that you can keep your speed up. Now this is the portion of the driving section that I wish I had just been a little bit cockier on. I let off the pedal just a little bit going through these turns, and being the second time around this track in this truck, the first time actually loaded, I just didn't want to push that truck too hard, but being as it's a competition, I probably should have. So here we are rounding the last bend. I did let off a little too much on the throttle around that last bend. That cost me a little second. Now this is important. Right here I want to pause it. So what I'm doing when I come to a stop right now is I'm looking at this cone out my right hand window. And that's really critical when you're in an off-road truck, not in a competition. When you go to turn, you want to find a spot out your window. As you're looking out your window, you want to find a landmark, and then you want to go immediately find that landmark as you make your turn in your rear view mirror, because now you have something to orient yourself to. A lot of beginners, when they get in these big off-road trucks, they just kind of pull out in front and then they have no orientation of where they're at. They kind of lose their bearings, which we often, it's pretty common when you look in a rear view mirror and you're not used to that view. But that's why it's always critically important, especially when you're trying to go fast. Pick a landmark as you're driving up and then make sure you orient yourself in a way so that you can look in your rear view mirror and pick up that landmark again. And that's how I was able, despite all of the dust and everything, that's how I was able to back into that spot so quickly. So let's unpause the video here and we'll keep rolling. I'm backing into the spot. This part, the only thing I could have done better here is probably about 4 or 5 seconds sooner. I should have been going up on the dump bed, but it was one of those things where you're just trying to make sure you're within the cones. Also didn't quite get it all the way into neutral, and this particular truck, it's got a button on the dump lever. I'll pause the video here for a second. It's got a button on the dump lever so that when you're in neutral, you can hit that button as you put it into the dump position and it will automatically rev the engine up. So you're not having to do the double foot on the pedals thing, which is really nice, except I missed getting it into neutral and it cost me another second or so there. So got the bed up. You're gonna notice I start pulling away before the bed is totally up, because you moving out from underneath the dirt is gonna help empty that bed out quicker. And then it's get that bed down as quick as possible, because these trucks won't get out of first gear while the bed is all the way up. And then it's get back into position. I probably should have hit the brakes just a hair harder here to come slamming to a stop. And there we are. Overall, I think that was a really solid run. I'm very happy with my performance. But unfortunately, I was beat by 2 seconds by Dirt Perfect. I know you guys are all familiar with Dirt Perfect. Mike over there does a great job. He was a fantastic operator, really gave me a run for my money. And so he, unfortunately, on this particular event, beat me by 2 seconds. And so that is really where you kind of get into cycle times. Cycle times are everything, and it doesn't seem like it adds up, but this is, you got to remember, this is one round in this competition that we did, and someone was able to beat me in this one round by 2 seconds. So multiply that by however many rounds you're going to do in a day on a job site, and you can very quickly see why these mass excavation jobs require short cycle times. They're paying attention to how you're loading these trucks. They're paying attention to how you as an off-road truck driver are driving these trucks, because that adds up. And especially this truck is, hauling around 40-ish to 45 tons of material per round. That's, if you can get an extra 2-3 loads in a day per truck, maybe you're running 5 or 6 trucks on your job. Now all of a sudden that's a substantial amount of material more that you were able to move by being efficient than you would have by kind of just haphazardly doing it. So that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click the link down below in the description here so that you can watch the full episode of the first event of the first ever National Equipment League Challenge. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next Down and Dirty.